Hello everyone and welcome to Mountain Lake Journal. I'm Tom Halleck. This week, the $175 billion budget proposed by New York Governor Andrew Cuomo a little more than a month ago has hit a major roadblock.
We have financial news that is significant and serious and something that the state is going to have to deal with.
With tax revenues down sharply, the governor and state controller Tom DiNapoli announced an unexpected $2.5 billion shortfall that Cuomo blames on changes Republicans in Congress made to the federal tax code last year. And that has forced him to rework his budget and propose cuts in health care funding and to put as many as 3 more state prisons on the chopping block. The governor did not specify which prisons might be targeted, but says with the inmate population down, he does not believe the closures would result in any layoffs. But lawmakers on both sides of the aisle who represent upstate regions with prisons are speaking out. Senator Betty Little says the North Country has already lost 3 state prisons in the North Country in recent years, including Chateaugay, which closed in 2014. And Assemblyman Billy Jones, a former correction officer, lives in the village of Chateaugay that lost more than 100 jobs when that prison closed. Jones and Little worry that the North Country could be affected because the region's prison industry is so large, with more than a dozen state correctional facilities from Comstock to Mariah to Raybrook and Malone. And in many of those communities, the state prison is the largest employer. The prison cuts were announced a week after the North Country's delegation gathered for the yearly Chamber of Commerce Legislative Breakfast, held in early February in Plattsburgh. On the menu for discussion this year, marijuana. Senator Little and Assemblyman Jones and Steck all say that they have concerns over legalizing recreational use of marijuana.
If marijuana is legalized, and I will tell you I still haven't decided what my opinion is on that. If you talk to people in drug rehab and all of that, they'll tell you no. If you talk to law enforcement, they'll tell you we don't know what we're going to do, how you detect it.
So there are many questions on this, and I think we need to separate and take it apart. I think the governor kind of wants to lump it in, and it was one of his 100-day agendas, and let's get it done, let's do it, let's go for it. I am for decriminalizing marijuana. I think if you've made a mistake several years ago in your life, I don't think it should follow you the rest of your life. But as far as all-out use and personal use, we have a lot of questions to answer on this.
And more than a year after Governor Cuomo came to Clinton Community College to announce a 3rd round of investment to expand broadband to every last mile of New York, some of the remaining pockets of rural communities in the North Country are now getting access to high-speed internet. With the help of a nearly $3 million grant, Shazy Westport Communications has added 100 miles of fiber and expanded broadband to 600 more homes and businesses in Clinton and Essex counties.
It's just absolutely critical for the state, and I think that everybody gets it. It's still a matter of it's money. You know, it's all a matter of money because telecommunications is very highly capital intensive. It takes a lot of money, and you're stringing up lines and setting poles and all that sort of thing. And the payback, it could be 20 years before you actually get that money back. So with the grant incentives, it makes it more feasible for us to be able to get a project done and get broadband out into the rural areas.
We need it for health, for safety, and for our economy. And to get people to come and live here in the North Country, you've got to have broadband and you have to have cell coverage.
Forcier says without that grant money, it would take another 10 or 20 years to get fiber. He says his company hopes to apply for another round of grant money to provide broadband to even more of their customers. Little and the other legislative leaders say they will continue to work in Albany to get that funding.
But on the cell coverage, we need taller towers. There is nothing in the APA law other than the APA decided 42 feet was the highest tower, and then the towers could be higher, but they couldn't be higher than the trees around them. Well, the trees grow. There's no reason, there's nothing wrong with tall cell towers. You can make them nice, they don't have to look like a tree, but there's some really, really nice ones out there. And even if they're ugly, they're efficient and they work.